Hello, in front of you have the question from CIE paper, and we will solve this. There are many questions, 3 questions we will solve, and we will try to figure out. Sorry, there are 4 questions which we will solve today, right now here, and we will try to figure out the common things in speciation, right? So the first thing you should do is pause the video and read the question thoroughly so that you can understand it, because I won't be stopping here, so you can pause now. Okay, hope you read the question well. Now the thing with this video, the thing with this question is speciation. First thing we have to understand, we have to mention the type of speciation, and in most of the question the answer is allopatric, because we know that there are 2 types of speciation. There is allopatric. Sorry, this is too large. Maybe let me use some smaller markers. Yeah, this one. So there are 2, right? There is allopatric, and there is sympatric. Right, and we know that this is formed when this speciation means what? Means new species formed, right? So, and what is a species? It's the one that cannot interbreed freely with the other one. Like they can a species between themselves, they can interbreed freely, like they can reproduce. But if you have different species mating, then you will not have a fertile offspring, right? So now these 2 are different, and in this case there is a geographical isolation, or there is anything different, physical thing, something physical, or something behavioral, or whatever that is. But this one involves meiosis. Like for example, you have in meiosis, and this happens mostly in plants, right? Sympatric. Like in meiosis, if you, instead of getting 2, you get 4, okay? And then in meiosis normally we have 1, and then here we have 1. These 2 go here, then these 2 meets again to get you 2, right? So sometimes what happens is instead of 1, 2 have to 2 meet, all the 2 meet. And then we have sort of 4. Now, under normal condition, this normally dies. The one with the species with the 4 instead of 1 gene in the DNA normally dies. But then sometimes they survive, and when they survive, instead of having 2 chromosomes, they will have 4 chromosomes, right? And when these survive, that's when new species form, because now this one with the 4 cannot interbreed with this one with the 2, so this one is a new species altogether, right? So that's how these species are produced. And in plants we know that normally when this happens, they don't need another female or male. They are they can have cross-pollination and reproduce themselves without the need of the other organisms. So here, since we have this grey wolf that crossed into northern Africa and all that thing, we conclude that this is nothing about sympatric. This is probably and surely about allopatric speciation. So the type of speciation is allopatric. Then suggest why the heterozygosity may be low in Ethiopian wolf packs. Now, first thing we have to understand is what is heterozygosity means. They are different. The different gene, like for example, let's say height. One is very very tall. Okay, let's say tallness. Okay, so let's say one is very tall and another one is short. So they are not this heterozygosity, because they are geographically, they are isolated. They are isolated. So it's simple, because they are isolated, right? If for example these Ethiopian wolf packs have A, okay, have A character, and then the B character is in somewhere else. So there is a wall here, and there is another A character in the. So when they interbreed, they'll just remain with two A's, and again, just the same homozygosity will be more dominant. I mean, this one will be the most occurring over here, because the B1 are isolated completely, right? So they are isolated, and so there is no gene flow, and that's the reason here they're giving. The packs population are isolated from each other, so no interbreeding. And since the mutation will not take place most of the time, I mean, it takes time for things to mutate, like for this kind of organism to mutate, it will take considerably some time. So we say that they cannot, there is little mutation, and so mutation cannot take part, play part in heterozygosity, and so the heterozygosity is low, right? So little mutation, there is isolation, and so if there is isolation, no interbreeding, no breeding between the different between the genetically different, or the organism with different genotypes than the one which we are given here, Ethiopian wolf packs. Then the other thing is, here we are given the reason. This is a question in endangered species. This is biodiversity question. We may answer here. The reason and the explanation why species are. Again, here you can pause and see the question nicely, so that you can understand it well. So the reason and the explanation. This kind of question you get it so much, and this just you have to think a bit. And an activity that accompanies human expansion and reduces the size of the wolf habitat, right? And accompanies human expansion means agricultural activity. Probably it can be agriculture, it can be other industries or anything that accompanies human expansion. I mean, humans are the ones that are urbanization and all that can include here, right? Then rabies, a lethal viral disease of wolves. What can they cause? They can cause death. They can cause death, and so the population goes low. Okay, and so all that. A human activity to control wolves. Now, normally we know that, like in Nigeria, in Ethiopia, okay, if someone has his herd here, he's grazing his cows here, right? And then there are these wild wolves that come all over here to attack. So what will this man do? He will take them, he will consider them as pests, and so he will kill this, right? So this killing of or hunting, in other words, is a human activity to control pests, hunting and all that. And then the results of wolves breeding with domestic dogs. The results of wolves breeding with domestic dogs. Now here there is this inbreeding. Here there is hybridization. We know that when wolves have and dogs interbreed, we get a dog-wolf hybrid, right? We get a hybrid, right? So what happens if we get hybridization? This is hybridization. Sorry, it's too rough. Hybridization, right? There is hybridization. So means two different alleles, two different organisms are are forming a hybrid, and that's what happens. Like if we say there is a hybrid of if we say this organism is a hybrid, means we took a gene from, or we took two different species or different characteristically, I mean two different organisms, not completely, they can be same species sometimes, but the one with this different genetical constitution, right? We take them and we sort of mutate, we sort of fertilize, allow the fertilization of those, of the gametes from those two organisms. That's hybridization. So hope that was clear, and this was the loss of wolf alleles. They can also be the reason why dogs of the result of forced breeding with domestic dogs. They can be alleles of wolves. Alleles of wolves can be lost. Why? Because some of the alleles of dogs can be dominant, and so they will pass on, and the alleles of wolves will go away. So in order to preserve these wolves, we need to prevent them from interbreeding with dogs, right? And the other thing is this simple calculation, and I'm just curious to show you that how the free marks are. I mean, some of the marks which are present are very easy. The percentage increase, this is a grade 3 question, I guess. Percentage increase, so 448 minus 349 over 349 times 100%. 349 times 100%, right? You just minus this and you will get your answer here, which is according to the marking scheme 28%. So the next thing I'll be explaining in the next question over here in the next video. Thank you.